We shift our focus to this story now. Judge Ratha Mokwatleng, who's monitoring the Senzo Meyiwa matter, has been the subject of debate following his admonishing of Advocate Mnisi yesterday. For more on Judge Ratha Mokwatleng's statements, we're joined by Judges Matters Mbekezeli Benjamin. Good afternoon, Mbekezeli. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Yet another moment in the Senzo Meyiwa case has sparked debate. Your views on Judge Mkwantleng's statement calling out Advocate Mnisi to the point of almost parroting racist sentiments around the work ethic of black professionals in comparison to white counterparts.
Excuse me. Good afternoon, Funda, and good afternoon to the viewers. Look, the issue really is about the conduct of the lawyers in court. And I think that's where the frustration of the judge comes from, in that this trial has been running for a number of months now, and at each point, it does seem that we are delayed, not by the judge or some of the other people in the case, but a lot by the lawyers. And so it was correct for the judge to come down hard on them, to express his displeasure about some of their conduct and the delays that it causes. However, the judge crossed a line when he racialized his frustration, when he said it is black lawyers who do this, or blacks who do a certain conduct, because the reality is that it is across the board. We are seeing a crisis of ethics in the legal profession, and so we do need a conversation, and we do need judges and other role players to call it out. But it's not a black or white thing. It's not a man or woman thing. It doesn't really relate to people's identity or demographics. And so the judge was wrong to say that it's black lawyers who do certain things or who don't do certain things.
What exactly is expected of a judicial officer if we had to speak about judicial temperament? Because there are those that hold the view that indeed they cannot condemn the actions of Judge Mkwantleng purely because they've held the view that, among others, Advocate Mnisi has been somewhat problematic. But be that as it may, we just want to know what then would be still expected of a judicial officer who is essentially an arbitrator in a process such as the one that's continuing now in the Meyiwa case.
Yes, in terms of the Constitution, which is the guiding light for all cases, the Constitution says that the judicial officer has to ensure that there is a fair trial. The trial must be fair to, obviously, the accused people. It must be fair to the victims or the complainants. It must be fair on the prosecutors and everyone who is attending the court trial. But also, justice must be done and also be seen to be done by the public. So we must all be satisfied that this is a fair trial that was run accordingly. In addition to the Constitution, there's also the Code of Conduct for Judges, and specifically Article 9. And Article 9 says that a judge must ensure a fair trial, and a component of that fair trial is that the judge must ensure that there is a maintenance of order in the court, there must be decorum in the court, and if the judge has any criticism to level against anyone in the court case, they must guard against using harsh language, derogatory or discriminatory language in their criticism. And so what that means is that a judge is allowed to express views and displeasure within the process of a court trial, but they must watch very carefully what they say, and that ultimately what they say must not harm other people's dignity, and it must be respectful at all times.
But it seems Judge Mokwatleng enjoys the support of the judge president specifically in this instance, because he has come out to state that he really saw nothing wrong with that. What do you make of that statement?
Well, look, it was, I think, too quick for the judge president to express that view. Maybe it would have helped to step back and look at what the factors are. Because, again, Judge Mokgoatlheng was expressing displeasure that started from the Wednesday, right? It was Wednesday where the judge called out the conduct of the lawyer, Advocate Mnisi, in terms of his labeling of the witness and calling the witness the dumbest police officer. That wasn't acceptable. And so when it went on to the Thursday, then the judge also expressed words when Advocate Mnisi asked for a delay. And so when you look at all of that, yes, there was some legitimacy in the criticism, but it went too far and started being discriminatory when you use people's race. And here, that's where the code of conduct for judges comes in. There might very well be a complaint against Judge Mokgoatleng. That complaint has to go to the judge president in terms of Section 15 of the Judicial Service Commission Act. And so the judge president, by already expressing a view, he's disqualified from adjudicating or dealing with that complaint. And so I think it was too soon for the judge president to speak.
Because in such an instance, one can think that there could one day be a situation where a black advocate comes before Judge Mkwantleng and you have a white advocate who's there as well. And then he, as the black advocate, asks the judge to recuse himself, saying, you have preconceived ideas about a black legal practitioner. So I do not think that in this matter I will get a fair hearing, or at least my client will get a fair hearing.
Yes, that is a reality, and it's a possibility that might very well happen, and which is why it was important for the judge to focus on the ethics of the lawyers. What is the principle here? What is the ethical concern that needs to be addressed? Because, as I said, we do have a problem with lawyers not adhering to the code of conduct for legal practitioners. We do have legal practitioners not adhering to the collegiality, the decorum, the standards that should be expected in court. And so that is the issue that needed to be addressed. And when the judge went on to a racial element, it makes it even hard tomorrow to call out white lawyers or any other racial group, because he's already made his views clear on what black practitioners should do or not do. And so I think it was unfortunate for the judge to make those comments, and I wish that he would withdraw the comments and apologize.
Mbekezeli, as always, thank you very much for your time. That's Judges Matters, Mbekezeli Benjamin speaking to us there.